Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to AoC 2021. We're on location with our friends at NCFE. My name's Gavin O'Mara from FE News, and this is Julie. Julie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm Julie Hyde. I'm the Director of External and Regulatory Affairs at NCFE.
So today is the first day back for AoC for 2 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is pretty crazy. It's strange, isn't it? It's like been really full of just loads and loads of people everywhere.
It absolutely is strange, given the last 20 months or so, and we've seen so many people virtually that we feel like we really know everybody really well, but we actually haven't seen anybody in the flesh, so to speak.
I think I've probably met about 20 or 30 people that I've only dealt with for nearly 2 years, like sort of by this.
That's right. That's right. You've no idea how tall or short anybody is, but that's. In a funny sort of way, that's sort of been the beauty of it as well. So seeing everybody live has been fantastic, and we're only on the first half of the first day.
Yeah, I know, it's been a good day. What I'd like to do is maybe, we've done a little bit of a pre-record with some people who have been in the audience, and also this is about my 14th or 15th AoC conference, but I've not really seen how the magic happens. So I was thinking what I'd like to do is show you how some of the things happen in the background. Let's check out.
Hi, I'm Andy Gould, Principal and Chief Executive at Newvic, and I'm really pleased to be back this year at Birmingham with the AoC. Lots going on, as there always is. You will have heard last night's announcements about the defunding of BTECs being delayed for a year, which is absolutely fantastic, and full credit to the AoC for all the hard work they've done on that, along with the moving of the skills white paper. It's actually really scary, to be honest with you, when I walk through the door. Not used to the public transport or travelling on a train. I've been doing a little bit lately, but coming up to Birmingham, I felt a bit more anxious. I don't know why, but I'm so pleased I made the journey. Kind of got rid of some of my fear, but also the fact that I'm able to see people in person at the conference. And it's more than just getting together. I think there's something about being able to talk face to face and not on a screen that just brings it back as to why it's so important that we're in this together, that we are actually fighting for the same things. And seeing people turn up to do that here is just phenomenal. And it is a fight, it's a great fight. I think it's one that we're beginning to win. We're certainly making lots of headway. So well done, David, and the whole team at AoC. And well done for making sure this was a live event this time rather than online. I think that took some real guts, but I'm so pleased you did it. And I'm sure many people here feel the same. Really pleased to be back.
Paul Phillips, Principal and Chief Executive of the Western College Group. Great to be here today. It's been such a long time since we've had the opportunity to get together with colleagues right across the sector. It's been a difficult 2 years. We've had the white paper, we had yesterday's announcement on funding, we've got a funding review, but at the end of the day, I'm here now to share best practice and hope that we get that realisation that the basic rate of funding needs to go up so that we can do our job properly. Brilliant opportunities, curriculum changing, but everything is good to go for the World Refi.
Ever wondered what it's like to be backstage at AoC? Well, let's go. It's a hazard area. Hi Eleanor, how are you?
Hi, morning. Welcome to the AoC annual conference.
So this is what it'd be like if you come out on stage and get to speak to all the amazing audience. So there you go. That's what it's like to be able to go backstage. I've never done that before.
No, neither have we.
But it's quite cool. I think there's some really interesting points raised by Mandeep and Paul. We've had quite a run into this conference. So even this last night, we had the big announcement from Nadeem. So what did you sort of think around what he was saying around the changes that are coming?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and there's been a lot of work done across the sector looking at what the skills bill will look like when it comes through, and it's all about choice for young people. We are delivering and offering T-levels, but we very much understand and know that one size doesn't necessarily fit all. Yep. So this gives that opportunity for those new qualifications to be really successful, which they are so far. The feedback's excellent from young people who are involved and teachers who are delivering and tutors who are delivering. So it enables them to have that time to bed in and also the market to play out as well, which that was one of the announcements last week. And I think the other thing then on the back of that is maths and English, that exit point. And I think that's really welcome. But just to Kate's point as well, Kate Green's point this morning on the stage, just need to be really mindful of what that means for you, those young people who are on programme right now, because it is as soon as possible. The plan is for that to be removed. So what does that mean? And how does that play out? And what does that look like from a delivery perspective? But really positive. And I think we're all in this with a view to have the best skills system, the best technical qualifications that we can have for our future and our economy. And that's what we all are in this together to do exactly that. So for us, there were welcome announcements.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think also we've had such a close conference to COP26 as well.
Exactly.
And that was even had to extend because things were going on with that. There was a really, really interesting performance right at the beginning. A lot of these sort of conferences, they do a bit of a dance thing, or you can have like a hybrid sort of thing. It's really cool today. I was actually really quite moved. It was Preston College. They were all dressed in the red, which was, you've seen all around COP26, around sort of the, it's just, I wouldn't say it's protesting, it's raising awareness of what's happening.
That's right.
These are the young people that he's actually experiencing too as well. It's really, really good. I think, the choreography, the whole sort of thing around having the learners do it, I think was really, really excellent.
I think that's exactly right. And that's why we're here. I mean, the learners are at the heart of everything that 100%. We're doing. So to see them playing that through and being through the arts, which I think is really important as 100%. Well, to show that the importance of creativity in everything that we do. So, no, excellent.
Yeah. What do you think, what are you sort of hoping for with sort of the outcomes from COP26? They're really cool, and it's good that we can get there. Obviously, it was a big disappointment. Even the chair was nearly crying at the end, which is like, sort of shows the emotion involved in this and the importance of it. But at the end of the day, unless we can develop an education and a skills system that can actually match the needs of what we're being asked to deliver against, like reducing coal, it'd be great to actually phase that out. But what are you sort of hoping for, like in the conference and beyond, to actually be able to deliver upon that?
I think it's really interesting. I mean, it's been mentioned that sustainability element and having everything green running through in the same way as we think about maths and English being embedded within qualifications. We have to think about sustainability being embedded as well. And I know that we've had a lot of strategic direction through many government departments, including the Institute for Apprenticeships, in their sustainability and what we need to have in our skills sector. I think it has to be a focal point in what we're looking for over the next 2 days. And I think we're looking for that direction of travel, and it's all very well to have something written in strategy, but it's how it's implemented that's the critical element, and what those plans actually come to fruition to look like. I think that's going to be what's telling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're lunchtime in AoC Day 1. There's an awful lot to come over the next sort of couple of days. Nadeem is in tomorrow. Apparently got Nadeem, so hopefully he does turn up. But it's what are you sort of hoping for from the sort of from Nadeem's speech, particularly what he said yesterday, particularly what's been happening in skills build, like system of the future, looking at quals and looking at the way that we can actually deliver. What would you be really hoping for the Education Secretary to be sort of sharing tomorrow?
That's a really, really good question, because technical education and skills has never had more airtime than it's having right now. And so we need to have a system that meets the needs of everybody. I've just been in the SEND session in the workshop just earlier on, and we need to consider what this means from an inclusive perspective for everyone, so that there's consideration given to the whole sector, to all individuals, and education should be for all. Education should be the thing that creates that levelling up. And we talk about levelling up, but for us, for NCFE, levelling up is providing an excellent education and skills for everyone at whatever stage they are at, to whatever outcome they're wanting to achieve, and that will be different for everyone. Yep. So what I would like to see is how he's going to enable society to be able to have the outcomes through their education system that's right for our economy. And if he can do that in his speech, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I've got high hopes. I mean,
Yeah,
his previous role, was get as many vaccines in people's arms as possible and buy like as many barn loads. And to be fair, he did, didn't he? And it's just like he seems to be like someone who's a real doer. So hopefully, you can see like the bigger picture and sort of move it forward. Really. Yeah. What's interesting, and what we've got a little bit of a sneak preview for you. We've got a bit of an announcement going to be happening later on today at the AoC conference, but we're going to be able to give you a little bit of a sneak preview. I don't know if you wanted to. Should we just bring Jantif? Would you like to come and join us in the studio?
Hello. Hi, Gavin. Hi, Gavin. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Jantif.
And this is like live from the stand. So you got like everyone eating lunch around you. I think you're being very excited, to be honest.
I do. I'm looking forward to getting some afterwards. I've been told the cake is terrible. Yes. Yes.
Could we talk about the sneak preview announcement on the research side of things? Could you sort of just explain like what you guys are going to be doing with AoC?
Yeah, sure. We've got a really exciting research initiative, which the two Davids will be talking about later on the main stage. NCFE have entered into a partnership with AoC to fund up to 10 FE scholars to do either an MPhil or a PhD, so giving them the opportunity to pursue any particular research interests and so on that might have jumped out at them through their experience in the classroom, or sort of any other FE experience that they bring to the table. So it's a really exciting opportunity, both to help individuals do some sort of development of themselves, but also to help increase the knowledge base within the FE sector, which is sort of one of the more under researched parts of the education system.
That's really, really interesting. So like, what's that? Last year was the Centre of Excellence with World Skills. Now this one is the big announcement around looking at research and how you underpin knowledge in the sector. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
What thing are you hoping for with like sort of outcomes on the research and sort of the funding that you're looking to do around that?
Yeah, like I said, what this does is, from my perspective, what's really exciting about this is, as someone who has actually got that kind of post-grad experience myself, it's much more difficult once you're in the workplace to make the time to have the support to go back and do something like this. So it's about trying to provide that opportunity to people for whom otherwise they might not have that kind of support. So I would encourage any FE college teachers, lecturers, and so on who may be interested, get on the website, get on NCFE, AoC websites, and find out more, get in touch. Applications are open. So if you've got an idea that you want to pursue, then do get in touch. And in terms of, the potential for something like this, what's really nice is that we're not telling people what ideas to go away and research and come back with. People have the opportunity to put forward their own ideas, gaps that they think exist. And through this, what we will also be doing is having a program of knowledge sharing and information sessions where the scholars that are involved, we support them to provide their learnings through the scheme over the next 3 years back into the community.
That's really cool. I think also, we need to be, we look at HE, one of the things that underpins HE is like the research, isn't it, really? And also, knowledge transfer partnership as well, and the way that we sort of can be collaborating more. Is there a hope? I know you're live with stands and people coming around you trying to get all of the merch behind you. I can see it. What are you sort of hoping for with like the future is? Could this turn into something where it's going to be knowledge transfer partnership? Could it transfer into being something where it's being much more around more collaborative working? What's the sort of your hopes and dreams for this if we was to go big?
Oh gosh, wow. Okay, so yes, I think that everything always has the potential to grow and expand and morph into something bigger and more sort of impactful, if you like. I mean, our our relationship with the AoC in terms of research partnerships does not start with this. So, for example, I mean, I'm speaking on a panel tomorrow to talk about our enrichment project, which is running over the next 3 years, which is looking at the kinds of work, that colleges are currently doing around enrichment. And post-pandemic, you know, sort of with sort of learners having been at home and out of sort of that socialization aspect, you know, enrichment becomes so much more important. So what's really lovely in terms of this partnership is that, as I said, you know, we started off with projects like that. It's grown into the research further. Is the name of this project. And in terms of the future, who knows? I think, you know, it's really exciting.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. There's such a growth in FE research at the moment. You know, there's so many people that are very, very vocal on social media, really passionate about what they're delivering with all different sorts of specialism. You know, and you've got your real sort of pioneers within that. I won't name them because I'll embarrass them on it, but it's really interesting that you're focusing on this, because I just think it's also for helping with the identity of the sector as well. Because if we've got that professionalisation within there, what are you doing as a research project? Well, I'm doing X. I just think this really helps people with the professionalisation of the sector and brings us all up.
Yeah. And do you know, Gavin, post-Brexit, obviously, you know, there's a lot of focus now on sort of skills development, about sort of where does the British economy go from here, and how do we make sure that people have the necessary skills that employers are looking for. And all of that is connected to everything that we do as a sector, both in terms of the research that underpins sort of what us, or, you know, bodies like awarding organisations do, what colleges do, and how all of us work together, including employers in that relationship, to sort of take that forward and make sure that the economy has the foundations that it needs in its workforce to be able to sort of grow and develop.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you've got an incredibly good point there, because I think with research, we can be much more front foot and proactive around being able to say, well, these are the needs. This is what I've spotted in the classroom. It's what I've spotted with employers. It's what I've spotted in collaboration. This thing is really exciting.
It is, and it's at the grassroots as well. So it's practical research as well, not just theoretical research, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for being live from Stan. I want to ask you one thing. What's been your favourite thing about AoC 2021?
Well, this is my first AoC conference, so I'm really excited to be here. Secondly, it's so nice to meet people face to face, both colleagues that I've been working with online for the last 10.5 months, but also new colleagues. And it's very rock and roll. I wasn't expecting that in the main hall. So it's been great, very exciting.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, isn't there, as well? It's like I mean, this is a still of the we're not really in the like the main sort of exhibition.
Gavin, I would never have known.
This bit, being open and honest, transparent. But look, I mean, but that is full when you go in, you know, and it's full on upper levels as well. I just think it's really exciting and interesting that it feels like there's an appetite for change and for everyone's just come on, let's get going now, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah, brilliant.
When's the session being announced? When is the sort of already officially happening?
I think it's now at 4:30 this afternoon.
Okay, so sorry everyone, we're 3.5 hours early, but but hey, you know what? This is what happens. You heard it first.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Gavin. Bye, Julie. Bye.
There we go. It's live. What can you do? It's going to be a bit of a delay on the stuff. I think that's really interesting around sort of the way that we're looking at professionalisation of the sector. But I think what's really, really interesting is that as education charities, NCFE, that are working in partnership with AoC, could that progress to being something else as well? This is like early stage one-ish, or are you what are you thinking could be the future for this?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because I think the idea is to not try to define it too much, because we want to see what this becomes. As Jansiv just said, you know, she's been with us 10.5 months, and actually I haven't yet seen her in the flesh, so I'm going to go and meet her on the stand after this.
Very nice.
So who knows what this could become? But I think as I said, looking at that practical research as well, and pulling together that with theory. The professionalisation is critical and really important for us. And as an educational charity, as you rightly say, it's what those outcomes are for young people. So what does that mean? What does that gain? And what do they then feed back into the next generation too? It's all about a learning process, reflective practice, so that we can bring it back and make things better. And this is for the whole ecosystem. We talk a lot about the ecosystem in education. It starts from birth all the way through. So we can't look at one element of it without connecting the dots across the piece. So we have to be, really clever with what we do with young people in their early years, right the way through primary, secondary, all the way through, so that they can have those fantastic outcomes. And there can't just be a focus on one level. We've got to look at joining up so that they have that information, advice and guidance to make those right decisions and have the career opportunities that they want to have. Yeah. So this research is a part of that.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. And what I think is cool, you're not limiting it, because sometimes some research think tanks have already got a little bit, I'm going to be a bit controversial, already got a bit of a preconceived idea of what they want to cover. Mm-hmm. And I think being sort of creative with that, we don't know what the jobs of the future
are. No, exactly.
We can predict it a bit, but, seriously, we don't really. We can sort of know how that can progress. And you've got to be able to be adaptive, you've got to be creative.
I think that's absolutely right. And we are an educational charity and also an assessment organisation. So that is a fundamental pillar in some of the research that we're doing as well. So we're talking about how young people develop, what the skills of the future are, and how we support them to ensure that they're mastering those skills.
Yeah, no, that's really, really cool. What was your favourite session today? Out of everything that's happened so far, what was your favourite one?
Out of it, well, everybody is going to say the very beginning with the students on stage.
Yeah, you stole that one from me. I was going to do that one. No,
I know you were. But I have to say, I mentioned it earlier. I've been in one of the workshops. I always think the workshops at AoC are fantastic. I've been coming for years, and we always go away with something that is a glimmer of information that you can take back and look at how you're going to do things slightly differently. Yeah. And one of the figures that was quoted, and I'll use that SEND session that I was in, was that 23% of college students all have a form of SEND, whether they have funding for it or not. So let's not forget that in whatever we are doing in the future, to make sure that we're inclusive and enabling all young people. So that was an operational element for me, but I think so far it's all about having some more information that we can take back and mould what we are doing, and having that insight is great. So I can't wait to see what Nadeem says whenever he's here.
Yeah, I sort of regret I didn't go to that SEND sort of session. It sounds like really good.
It'll be on record, no doubt.
Yeah, I think it's cool because I've done some stuff around sort of offender learning and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think I'm writing quite. Normally I've got the figures written down in front of me, but I think it was right in saying it's around about 40% of all inmates have all been excluded from school.
Right.
How much of that would be down to hidden barriers, particularly around sort of neurodiversity and such? And I think it's got such a knock-on impact.
Absolutely.
Where we need to be sort of really, really be thinking around what we're doing around access, inclusivity, and just be able to open up barriers.
Absolutely. And that transition from one type of setting to another plays a critical part in this. So what that looks like with that information, advice and guidance that's given from primary school into secondary school, and from secondary school into college into FEHE employment, what all those transition phases, how can we make it as smooth as possible? And there's a role to play for all of us in that. And particularly in relation to individual needs. Yeah,
no, that's really, really cool. No, I wish I'd gone to that session. My favourite one was there's a couple of things for me. When I arrived, I've come to this on my own, and when I arrived, there's just been such a friendly sort of environment and atmosphere. Like Team NTFE have got like a massive squad, and some of you haven't seen each other, and that's all really cool. I was invited out met some people at the station coming in. I was just invited out for dinner with people. This feels so like the sector's really actually coming together.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that partnership working and collegiate working and collaborative working and all those words make that a really great thing. And I think like no other, we've seen that all the way through this last 20 months, that really good organisations coming together to share their expertise. And I think that's absolutely right. It's warm. Everybody with that same purpose, wanting young people to achieve, but actually caring for each other in doing that as well. So, no, I think it's another layer, isn't it, that just makes it special.
Yeah, 100%. No, I'll be interested to see what, because Kate Green, it's really, really good what Kate covered today, and I saw it last week as well. She's lovely, Kate. But it's be interested. It's sort of it feels like this is setting. It's like now we're going to sort of we're starting this relationship with the education sector. And it's great that he's come in, and it's just like what could that mean? Do you know what I mean? He's sort of really, particularly with the announcement, last night, knowing that it'd be the conference today as well. I know there's a lot of things all happening around that. Just hope. I'm just hoping that this is going to be a really solid relationship with Education Secretary. That it's 2 ears, 1 mouth can listen to what is happening around and adapt, and also be able to hear from employers, hear from educators, hear from everyone as to what it could be. I don't know. I just might be a Mr. Positive here. Yes,
no, it definitely feels optimistic. And when you think as well about the work that teachers and tutors and assessors and leaders have done, awarding organisations over the last 20 months, and going through CAGs, then TAGs as well. We can't forget to get those certificates out to enable young people to move on to their next stage of learning. That the pressure cooker has worked in order to be able to achieve that. And there's something here about Nadeem has recognised that as well. I think the department have recognised that. Yeah. So that collaboration and working together to that right end, I think there is a moment in time, and it feels like it's now. Yeah,
maybe that's what it is. It's like there's a sort of, it's weird saying this, and I've heard people say this before, and I've been like, whatever. It does feel different. It does feel different. I've been doing this 18 years, you can tell by the hair, but this is probably my 15th, because we had like 2 years being out really with AoC. It's just different. It feels different. It feels like we're actually together, really together, rather than silos and it all being a bit weird. I just think this one, I don't know. This is gonna. I have that feeling about COP26. I have this feeling that I'm a Spurs supporter. I have that about every time they play. Do you know what I mean? Like, so hopefully it's not going to be. Hopefully it won't be a disappointment. We're looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. We're live again at 1 o'clock. I'm going to be joined by co-anchor is going to be David, and we're going to have another guest with us as well. We're going to be flipping around the rest of the AoC sort of conference as well. What's interesting is we've got sessions in the afternoon, so we're going to be covering those a little bit. And also, hopefully, if you're watching Nadeem, can't wait to meet you. And we will see you tomorrow, 1 o'clock, live on FE News, every page, on Takeover, and also on Catch Up for the rest of the day. And we'll have the legacy article as well. You know the drill. Thank you to all the team at NCFE. It's total collaboration. This is our first on location, and they just made it really, really easy to do that. So I just want to say thank you very much to Lindsay, wherever you are. And I'd like to also say thank you to Danielle as well. And Julie, I think you've been a great anchor. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
FE News Squad, thank you so much. Leah in the background, making all the magic happen. Kelly and Finley, even though you're ill, you're still doing it. So thank you so much. And we'll see you all tomorrow, 1 o'clock, FE News. Or in the conference.